As someone who's been in crochet for a while, I've been working at leveling up my crochet game a little bit and sharing what I found with you. So today I'm sharing a few ways that I'm leveling up my yarn stash. Now I know not everyone has a yarn stash and not everybody wants a yarn stash, and that's totally fine. But my thoughts are on this: if I'm gonna have yarn at my disposal, I want it to actually serve me the best. I've got a video where I shared some of the mistakes I've made along the way. I'll have that link for you if you want to know a little bit more about that. But basically, from this experience, I've learned really what suits me and what doesn't suit me. And the overall takeaway of this is, if you are wanting to have yarn on hand so that you can just go to it, grab it, start crocheting when that urge hits or when you find the pattern you want to get the best possible prices on yarn instead of going, buying project by project, which again, I know isn't for everyone. But for those of you who do, I've got some tips on how I'm leveling up my yarn stash, and I'd like to share them with you as I unbox some different yarn I got from different places today. So I came into possession of a couple different gift certificates. I had Wool Warehouse, Joann, and Hobby Lobby. And so I'm very excited to actually kind of like put into practice some of the things I have been talking about and trying to figure out exactly how to do it. So I think I'll go ahead and start with the Wool Warehouse because I'm super excited about it. I've done one other Wool Warehouse video and I will have that linked above. And so I had gotten a 25-pound gift card for Wool Warehouse. It is in the UK. So I got 3 of these Drops Cotton Light, and I believe this was in the color Almond. I guess I could look. Yes, this is the color Almond. So I did go just a tiny bit over the 25 pounds by 3.5 pounds. So yeah, this haul cost me 3.5 pounds, which was awesome. And I really have to thank my friend for that gift card. Yes, I got 3 Drops Cotton Light, and I had purchased some of these before in another haul. This is a cotton polyester blend. It's a DK, and I had gotten a mustard and a rust color, and then I got one called vanilla, and it was like a pale yellow. So I just gave that to my friend, and she was going to use those, and I got this one that is almond and slightly brown. And then the showstopper is these Hayfield Bonanza Chunkies that I got right here. And these were, I want to say they were $8. They were like 9 pounds. And so the equivalent was around, I think like $12.99 or $13 in US dollars. They're 400 grams. It's machine washable. I believe it is a wool. It's an acrylic. No, it's 100% acrylic. And what I like about this is that it is all neutrals. So it does have white and gray, which are cool tones, but it's got really pretty browns and tans in there too. And there is a lot here. So like I said, 400 grams, 645 yards. So I've got about 1,300 yards here. And my big mistake that I have learned, especially when doing my drops order the very first time, was I wasn't getting enough of something. So even though this was a giant ball, I wanted 2 of them because now I am going to make a wearable for myself out of these. And same way with the drops. I did buy this with an intention not really to leave in my stash, but it is definitely part of that same color scheme that I am working for. Now, these next items are not what I would call yarn stash items, but I wanted to try them out, and with my gift card, it was the perfect time. I got a couple of crochet hooks, and I got the Drops Circus crochet hook in a 5.5 millimeter, and I got the Drops Basic crochet hook in a 5 millimeter. So the Drops Circus was a pound and a half, and the drops basic was a pound. So this was probably about $3 US dollars here in total, and I thought this would be great to try them out because I didn't even know that drops had hooks. So I am excited to try these out. So I was in a town with a Hobby Lobby. The yarn was on sale because if you know me, you know I am a bargain girl and I am not going to be buying yarn at full price. Like everything I'm buying is on sale, which is another great thing that I want to be very intentional about my yarn stash. But buying yarn on sale is also how I've ended up with things in my yarn stash that I have had to rehome. So let me show you what I got and why I got it. I got 3 of these Soft and Sleek DKs. This is the color Irish Rain, and I absolutely love it. It is a very deep emerald, not really an emerald green, but it's a very deep green. I'm not sure exactly what you call it. I feel like it has a little bit of a touch of teal in it. But these balls are pretty decent. Now it is a DK, so it is a little bit smaller, but you're getting 478 yards. And this is a low pill acrylic. And I'm going to have a video coming out very shortly where I'm talking about some different ways that you can level up your yarn. And a low pill acrylic is one of those ways. If that's something you are interested in, I would love it if you would subscribe if you're not and hit the notification bell so you know when that video comes out. I did make sure that I got 3 of these. I know I'm only showing you 2, but I did get 3 of these. So again, that I can work on a project for myself and make a wearable. And I think that's something that's very, very important that I have learned as I've gone on with my yarn stash and making it and transforming it, like leveling it up into something where it's like a very, very customized yarn store, tiny yarn store just for me. If you think about it in the aspect of if you're familiar with how cookies work or like an algorithm, like the YouTube algorithm or the Instagram algorithm, if you are looking at certain items that are a certain type and you're liking those items and you're interacting with those items, whatever platform you are on, whether it's social media or a store, they're going to show you more of the things that you like and interact with. And that's how I want my yarn stash to be. I want it to be all things that are perfectly tailored for my needs and what my wants are. So, like, let's take YouTube for example. If you normally watch yarn and crochet content, but all of a sudden your cousin has a mysterious illness and you start looking up all this information about that particular illness, all of a sudden your YouTube feed is going to change and YouTube is going to start showing you not just your yarn content, but it's going to start showing you some things about that illness, maybe some illnesses that are similar to that illness, and your feed is going to start getting much more varied with different subjects. And sometimes that's okay. If you are crocheting a ton of different items for different people and for different needs, you may need your yarn stash to be varied and have a lot of stuff. But I've come to the point in my crochet journey where I'm pretty much just making stuff for myself. And if I do decide I want to do a project for someone else, I'm going to go buy yarn that'll be perfect for that project instead of working out of my stash. I want to continue to build this into things that I am going to think are just perfect for my project. I did grab these, and then I got 4 of these Bam Beautifuls. And let me tell you that this Soft and Sleek DK is regular price $4.99. It was 30% off, so I believe that is right about $3.50. So I think these are just a super amazing value. This would be one of my favorite yarns there. I do think they have kind of a limited supply on the colors that they have, but this is such a great option to get a good amount of like a premium acrylic yarn for $3.50. This one was slightly more. The regular price is $5.49. So I'm assuming I paid around $4 for this. I can pop that up on the screen so you know for sure. But it's Bambootiful, and this is the color Cognac. You get 4 ounces in this, and it's 257 yards. It's 50% cotton and 50% viscose from bamboo. So it is very soft, definitely softer than a normal cotton yarn. This is one of the colors that I am really working on integrating into my wardrobe quite a bit more because I just love this color. While I don't have a particular project in mind, I bought 4 of them, so I do have about 1,000 yards, which should be enough to make, you know, a light wearable, like some sort of light sweater, you know, a poncho, something like that, in a very soft and summery fiber. I know my thoughts in this video aren't quite as organized as I like to be, but I just thought I would kind of go a little bit as I'm unboxing and letting you know my motivation for buying these particular yarns and how it really does level up my yarn stash as I go. So the next is going to be Joann. I did go into Joann the same day that I went into Hobby Lobby. I absolutely love this Super Saver stripes. I had seen it before, but I hadn't given it a ton of thought. And we all know the texture of Super Saver, but to be honest, this isn't bad. This didn't really feel that scratchy. Like it was no, it wasn't like the softest yarn as I was working it up. I've already made a wearable out of 2 of these, and I will be making a video on that wearable because I'm going to do it in several different yarns, but it doesn't feel bad at all on. Like to rub this on my skin, it does not feel scratchy. I mean, yes, they're softer yarns, but I have no problem with this rubbing on my skin. I do think they are doing better at making them softer and definitely better than they were years ago. But this is the color Latte Stripes. And again, this just has all of those like Shannon colors that I love so much. I bought 3 of these and I have already used 2 of them in that wearable. And I believe I'm going to be making myself a hat out of this. And I have made so many hats. But as I've gone on in my crochet journey, I have learned more about the types of yarn that I use and which yarns are better for hats, which ones stretch out too much, which ones don't have enough stretch, that type of stuff. And I've also gone through and made some in colors that I just think work better for me. So this will be turned into a stocking cap for me, but I'm not in a super big hurry because it's spring right now. So I know I have some other like summery projects I want to work on first. So these normally retail at $4.49, but they were on sale for $3.99, and I had $5 in Smile rewards saved up. So each of these I got, there was 3 in total, I got for $3.32. So I thought that was a fantastic deal on these. So in total with tax, it was $7.45 for 3. And I've got a top and I will have a hat. So this one will be going in my yarn stash. And I do know, based on how much I love how this stripe worked up in that wearable, that I will probably add a few more of these to my yarn stash when I see that they go on sale again. I've had mixed feelings about striped yarns in the past because depending on the project, I've had some unplanned color pooling that I didn't like, where it kind of all conglomerated on each side of my granny square and various things like that. But I really liked how these stripes worked up. So I'm definitely going to be adding more. The rest of my Joann's haul was online, and I'm not always in favor of rushing out and buying something because it's brand new, but Erin, Crafting Kitty, had shown these big twist prisms over on her channel, and with a name like Prism, I thought they were all going to be super colorful, and I'm not trying to add more color to my yarn stash because that isn't what I like to wear. I can appreciate very colorful yarns, but it turns out out, they sit in my stash forever, and they're not really helpful for me sitting in there. And that's why I did give a bunch of them to my friends' granddaughters, because they love bright colors and they can use those. But this is called Tiger's Eye, and it has some very, very pretty brown tones. It really is like the Tiger Eye gemstone. It's got light browns. It's got like almost like a reddish brown in there, if you want to take a closer look at that. It is a 4 weight, and it is 273 yards in this 7-ounce acrylic. It is 100% acrylic. It is very, very soft and squishy. Like, the squish factor is amazing with this one. Again, this is something that I think will be perfect for a wearable. It definitely looks a little bit thicker, so probably not so much like a summer wearable, but definitely as I go into the fall, I think I can make like a really pretty layering piece out of these. This was a little bit more spendy. I believe they are $8.99 if I remember correctly, $8.99, and I got them on sale for $6.74. So since I had that gift card, I thought it was the perfect time to use the gift card to splurge on a few of the newer, more expensive yarns. So just like we talked about those cookies giving us more of what we like online, I had previously purchased this cinnamon big twist. There we go. This cinnamon big twist value yarn, and I absolutely loved the color of it. It's like a very like rusty red, just like a hint of brown, but I would call it mostly a rust. The big twist is a very soft for a value yarn. I really like it, and I made myself a hat out of this and just loved the color. So I wanted some more of it because I had tested it out. I knew I liked it. I knew I liked the color on me. I mean, I actually like this type of red a lot more than this type of red. I bought 3 more of these because the big twist was on sale for, I believe it was like $2.69 or $2.79, which for me is a stock up price. I know when I am filming this, it is almost Memorial Day weekend, and they just put out their doorbusters, and the big twist is on sale for $2.50. But for me, I'm not really getting like that FOMO feeling because I only paid 20 cents more, and I was still really happy with the price I got them for. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough of this on hand that I could make myself something. Now, probably not like a full cardigan, but like for example, my secret project I'm working on right now requires about 500 yards. So I could definitely do that because these have 380 yards just in the one skein. So 3 skeins of cinnamon. The next thing I got was six skeins of big twist value in the color toffee. And the reason I did this, again, a couple things. I know I'm going to want to make wearables. I know some wearables require a lot more yardage. So I know I could definitely make a cardigan out of this amount of yarn if I wanted to. And I am pre-stacking my yarn stash with colors that are all in the color scheme that I'm going for. And I do have a video out, and I will link it, where I go through like kind of how to help pick out like color families, color schemes, whatever you want to call them, a color palette to help you work from and be able to have more that mixes and matches. So I know because I bought so many of the big twist value in different colors that the washing instructions are going to be the same. The size of the yarn, the thickness of the yarn is going to blend seamlessly if I want to put them in the same project. And since they're all part of that same color palette that I'm working on, I know that my colors are going to match fairly well. So I am getting myself a lot more flexibility out of my yarn stash by purchasing similar yarn, just in the same yarn, but in different colors that I love. And I would have bought more of these larger big twist values but they were out of the toffee. That's one of the reasons I bought 6 of the regular size, is because they were sold out of the pounds of them. Well, it's actually more than a pound. It's a pound plus. It's 17.6 ounces. But they were going like hotcakes. And I think these were on sale for $6.99. So it did work out slightly cheaper to buy the pound plus, and I think that's why they sold out so quickly. But there is less colors available. But again, I still felt like I got a great deal on the regular size skeins. This is the color mustard right here. And again, it is, you know, the same specs as far as it being a 4-weight and it being 100% acrylic, but the value plus, or the value pound plus, gives you 1,093 yards. And I don't know if I said this is the color mustard. So again, another great earth tone that will all go together. I think like at heart, I am just like a 70s girl. I don't know. I was born in the 70s. I don't know. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I just love some good earth tones. And then the last yarn I got from Joann from my gift card was this big twist tweed, and this is the color dark green. And I absolutely love this yarn. This one is more expensive than the regular big twist right here. I do think it's a little bit softer. It has this nearly the same amount of yards. You get 2 extra yards in this one in the tweed, but it is 97% acrylic and it has 3% viscose. I don't know if that's the little tweeds or not. It says it's machine washable, but I just don't know with the tweeds. Like, I think I would still hand wash this. So I'm not going to be making something like a blanket or anything that's going to need heavy duty washing. I am just going to be making smaller projects out of this. And I did just get the one because, number one, I do know I love it, but I'm not going to make a big project out of it. But I also felt safe because I had used one of these before in the color chocolate, and I got 2 hats out of it, like a granny square hat, a slouchy beanie, and then just a regular beanie. So I do really love this, and it's definitely a safe one to get. They have a beautiful plum color as well, which doesn't fit into my color palette as well, but it's still very pretty, and I still think it kind of falls into the neutral. So basically, that's what happens when I have $100 gift cards to use up. That's what Shannon Talks Yarn gets out of $100 gift card to 3 different stores. Not 100 at each store, like 100 in total from 3 different stores, if that makes sense. I am pretty darn pleased with what I got. There's nothing I have regrets about here, and I know I can put these into my stash, even though I'm really tempted to throw some of these into my use first bin because I do love them so much. So that's going to be a tough thing, but I just think it's important that if you're having a yarn stash, that it's actually stuff that you love and will want to use and will enjoy using and will help you, where if you find a pattern you want to do, you can just go to your yarn stash like it's your own little tiny yarn store and get what you need out of there. And the biggest thing that I've had as a drawback and like mistakes I've learned from my yarn stash is that by buying things for that I think other people will like, or buying things because they're super cheap and I'm afraid of paying full price, that has led me to, I don't want to say like skimping or cutting corners, but it's led me to doing projects that I don't enjoy and having projects not turn out as well because I was trying to make it work out of my yarn stash, because I thought, I have this yarn stash, I need to use what's in there instead of going to the store and buying full price. So the past few months I have really been working at leveling up my yarn stash. I went through and rehomed stuff that I knew I just wouldn't use to make room for stuff that I know I will use. And you know, from here on out, I am really only going to be buying things that I know I love and I will use, which I do think I will be going through and doing a little bit more reorganizing and trying yet another way of organizing my yarn stash, because if you are like me and you continually struggle with being organized and keeping things clean and your room turning into a pit again, it just means like I haven't found the right system yet. So I'm going to keep working on another system and try to make this work out a little bit better for me so that I can see all the yarns that I want to use, which is another great way to level up your yarn stash, is having those yarns visually accessible and physically accessible to you. If you have other tips for leveling up your yarn stash, I would love to know. Like I said, my main ones were buying on sale and buying in a color palette and buying more of the things you know you love already. I will have a video up here if you want to continue talking yarn a little bit longer, but as for now, thank you so much. Bye.